Welcome to LSC. It's sports time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Today we're coming to you from the NASCAR Sports Grill here on the power plant in Hampton. I have with me Dowling, who is a former Deep Creek player, UVA, and has been drafted by the Patriots. Welcome.
Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to have you here. This is great.
Oh, it's good to be here.
We're going to talk a little bit about you growing up because you were on the south side. I assume you grew up playing rec ball.
Yeah.
Was you always football? Was that your always love, or did you basketball, baseball come into it at all?
Well, I played basketball too. AAU, played rec ball, and that was basically the two sports I just played growing up. And I ran a little track in high school.
But football was your love? Is that your passion?
Yeah, that's my passion now. Basketball, I still love to watch basketball and play it anytime I can.
Right.
Off season.
Did you find out that when you played basketball that you could use some of those carryover skills like the lateral movement, all that help you in football?
Oh, exactly. Even eye and ball coordination. Looking at the ball coming in and even sliding, staying in front of your man. It really helps me out, on the field.
All right, then you made the transition to Deep Creek. Now, Deep Creek's a pretty well-known school. Hampton used to run into them all the time.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that program over there.
Well, Coach Cox, he was coaching then when I was there. Even before I got there, it was a real powerhouse team, running the wing tee, just smash mouth football, running the ball down your throat.
Right. And as you played, what position did you play? What was your best position?
I played free safety at the time, and I played receiver, quarterback, a little bit of something, everything. In high school, you just play everything,
right.
All the players.
But then you went to UVA.
Oh, yes, sir.
You get recruited, and that had to be awesome.
Yes, it's something that a lot of kids don't get an opportunity to get a full scholarship to a big program at that.
Right.
And, I was just really thankful and grateful to have the opportunity.
What was that transition like? Because you're going from high school where you got some good athletes.
Oh, yeah.
But up there you've got a lot of good athletes.
Yes, sir. High school you probably have about 8 or 9 guys on the field that probably go D1, and then you move up to the Division I, and everybody's out there on the field as good players. So you got to come every day and practice hard every day to get ready for the games.
All right, so now you made the transition. You're not offensive on the offensive side anymore. You're strictly defense.
Yes, sir.
So during your practices and during your film session, what was it that they taught you?
Practice, you really got to come out there and perform every day. I think that's one thing. You can't go out there and be 90% during practice and then think you're going to make the same plays, make the play on Saturday. So you got to try to make the plays on the week, and then you can make it on Saturday. Well,
like the guy says, you practice like you play.
Oh, no question.
So you got to practice hard to play hard.
Yes, sir.
All right, now you end up playing for Mike London the last year, right?
Yes, sir.
Old friend of mine, Mike, was over at Bethea when I was over there. Why is it that we have so many good athletes from this 757 area? South Side Peninsula, just where do they come from?
I don't know. But it's just great competition out here growing up, producing them every year. Every year we can say that we got somebody that's going to the NFL, or somebody going to a big college. So I think that's a great feeling to say that.
Right. But do you think it's not only the kids that are good athletes, but you have to have good coaches?
Oh, most definitely. I know we had Coach Cox. Hampton had Coach Mike Smith, I believe. Cadillac Harris from Indian River. He produced a lot of great athletes, too. There's more coaches I can say, but I can't remember the names off the top of my head right now.
But now, when you were playing over there at UVA, when you were playing there,
yes.
What was it like when you walked out onto that stadium for the first time and you saw that crowd and you heard it? What was that like, that experience?
It's just, something that you've been dreaming as a kid. All the time as you're a kid, you're saying, I'm gonna play varsity football. I'm gonna play college. And you actually get that feeling. I can't even really explain how that feeling would feel. But it's just,
get the goosebumps and the whole thing.
Oh, yes, sir.
And I talk to big old linemen, and they say goosebumps, and you say, how do you get goosebumps? But it's thrilling.
It's true. It's true.
All right, so then you get drafted by the Patriots.
Yes.
And you're going up there. You got a friend from this area.
Yes, sir.
Gerard Merrill.
Yes.
So he's going to take you under his wing and help you out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that feeling when you got the call.
Well, actually, I was just sitting in the living room with my family and friends, and across the screen it said "pick is in," and I haven't got the call yet, and it was like 1:30 seconds. So I really got up out of my seat to go get some food. Then my phone started ringing. It was an unknown number. And I really wasn't gonna answer. I thought somebody was playing on the phone. So it was down to like 30 seconds left, and I answered my phone, and it was the owner, Mr. Robert Kraft.
Oh, well, good luck to you in the future.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for tuning in, but stay tuned for my next guest. Welcome back. I have with me Anton Bethea, who is a safety for the Indianapolis Colts, and lucky enough to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But let's go back and talk. You grew up in Newport News.
Right.
You played rec ball. Who did you play with?
I played on 4 Uses Army base with the 4 Uses Eagles. Started playing when I was at the age of 8, and I did that until my 9th grade year.
Did you enjoy that and get a lot from the coaches? Were they good fundamentalists for you?
Oh, most definitely. That's where I learned the game at. That's where you just go out there, you just have fun, and you just learn the fundamentals. And like I said, that was a time when you used to love to go out there. Sitting through school, you just couldn't wait to get out of school to go to practice. So Coach Venners was a big influence around that age for me. And, like I said, I just had a great time just running around, just learning the game and just enjoying it.
Did you play any other sports growing up, or was football your love?
Oh, no. Basketball always been my first love. I played, when I was coming up, I played basketball, I played football, and I played a little bit of baseball. I stopped playing baseball, and from the age of 10, it's just been basketball first and then football second.
But now football's first.
Football's first.
All right, and then you go to Denby High School. You're going from playing with kids that are just learning the game. You're going up there, you're playing with people that know a little bit more about it.
Most definitely. My 9th grade year, starting off with the JV team. My head coach was Coach Juan Jackson, and I was still at that point. You're still learning a little bit more about the game as well. I wasn't really I wasn't big at all, but I just had the passion for the game, and on that level, again, I was just learning, just trying to find my way, find my itch, and Denby High School, it taught me a lot as well.
Right now, when you were at Denby, you played both basketball and football.
Yeah, I played basketball and football 9 through 12. Like I said, at that time, basketball was still my first love. Had an older brother, and I watched him. He went to Denby as well. And so, I just watched him play football and basketball as well. So, football I had passion for, but basketball was always my first love, and it was always something that I wanted to do. Right.
Did you find that you took some skills from basketball to help you in football and vice versa?
Oh, most definitely. Coming into the basketball season, being a football player, you're already in shape. You're already in shape. The physicality of the football, you can bring that to the basketball court as well. So, just being a leader, you can be a leader on the gridiron and on the court. So, I try to transfer that from the football field to the basketball court. Right. Especially the position that I play my 11th and 12th grade year in football, I was the middle linebacker. So, I'm calling the calls, making the call in the huddle. And then in basketball, the point guard. So the point guard is the coach on the court. So, you can transfer both positions in both sports. And like I said, man, I just had a great time playing both sports.
Right, but you're not the only one that played middle linebacker or linebacker into high school and end up as a safety in the pros. And I'm thinking of Sean Gale from Bethel High School and end up as a great safety for Chicago Bears. Right. Started off with linebacker. You guys learn how to hit.
Yeah, if you playing linebacker, you gotta stick your nose in there, and safety in the league, you got to do the same thing. I made that transition from linebacker to safety when I went to Howard University. And, I had never played DB. I always played, mostly linebacker. And when I went to Howard, man, I had another great defensive back coach, Ron Bolton. He taught me all the fundamentals and techniques of becoming a good DB. And, I took that, I ran with it. And I was able to make my dream come true.
Well, yeah, but now Howard is not the big school.
Not at all.
You don't get the big press that the Big Ten and the Big East and the ACC and all that does. But yet you proved that you were good enough to catch the eyes of some scouts.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, my coach Ron Bolton, he played in the NFL for 11 years. And, he told me, he said, regardless of what school you go to, if you do what you need to do on the field, the scouts will find you. And, I really believe in him, and I believed in myself and my ability. I just put my best foot forward each and every day during the season, during the off-season workouts. And, I was blessed to and further my career.
Okay, and you've pretty well stayed injury-free, have you?
Oh, most definitely, and that's a blessing for me. Just being playing this contact sport. It's a lot of careers that's ended over injuries, and like I said, I'm blessed to really so far go through my career with not too many injuries and no serious injuries. So I knock on wood when I get a chance. But I'm blessed to be able to play this game in the way I play the game and not have that many injuries.
All right, so when you get the call and get drafted, what was that like?
Oh man, it was one of the best moments in my life so far. That second day, the first day it was a lot of nerves going. Not getting that phone call, but that second day, 6th round, when I got the phone call from Coach Dungy, asked me if I wanted to be a coach. Man, it was just something that I couldn't believe was happening. My mom and dad was there, my brother was there, my close friends was there. They was happy for me. And, it was something that I really enjoyed, be able to experience and enjoy my family and my friends.
All right, now tell me about the transition, because now you're going to where everybody is big, everybody is fast, and you're going to the big league.
You're right. Playing, like I said, playing the safety position, that's a position where when I was coming in the draft, a lot of people saying I was small. So, I just really had to hone in on my skills, on my techniques, and just use my speed to my advantage. Once again, I stepped into a great situation with a great coaching staff and a great defensive back coach. And, they gave me all opportunity in the world to come in and play. And I was fortunate enough to really, come in and start playing off the jump. I started the first regular season game, and that was a blessing. And that was just dedication and hard work. And like you said, man, that's the league that everybody wants to get to. And, it's the big lights, Sunday night football, Monday night football. As a little kid, you're sitting there watching with your father. And, I was just happy to be there.
Tell me a little bit about the feeling when you walk out in that stadium and you hear that roar.
Oh, man, and like I said, coming from Howard, our biggest crowd was our homecoming. It might have been, 12,000. We thought that was the biggest thing in the world, but like I said, I didn't go to a Big Ten or ACC school or where the crowd sometimes was 160,000. So when I stepped out there for the first time and it was 65,000, 70 people screaming, I was shell shocked at first. I didn't know what this was like. I was shell shocked, but once the pads got to flying, once the whistles got to blowing, it was just the same. It's the same game you've been playing since you was 8 years old, and I just took that in as best as I could, and just try to run with it.
Now, did you watch Robert Saunders at all, Sanders? Because he was, to me, was the ultimate hitter out there.
Oh, most definitely he was. And it was just a blessing for me just to learn from him and play alongside of him. When in my first year, it was really just him wrecking havoc and me just playing the background. So it gave me a time as a young player and as a young man just to sit back and learn from a great football player. And like you said, when he was on the field, running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, they were scared to come through the hole because he would, when he hit you, you knew he hit you. And unfortunate enough, he's not with the Colts anymore, but he's still a good friend of mine, and he's going to be. I think in the future he's going to be a future Hall of Famer.
Right. Now, he's about your size too, isn't
he? The thing is, he's shorter than me, but he's a strong dude. If you've seen him now, it looks like he had two shoulders, two bowling balls on his shoulders. He's shorter than me, but he's a big dude. Works hard, hits the weights hard, and he's very dedicated to his job.
Tell me about what this camp means to you, bringing back to the area.
Oh man, it means a lot, man. It's one thing where one particular person can have a camp, but when you can have one camp and you have Guys from the 80s come back, the guys from the 90s come back, and just let the kids touch you and see you. You know, it's something different than where, you know, they can watch you on TV, but when they can see that this is real, these guys came from the same neighborhood that we come from, and it's a possibility that we can beat them in 10 to 12 years. So it's a great event, a great opportunity for, you know, all the guys to come back home and you know, give some positive outlook to the kids in the community.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to stop back and see us.
I thanks for having me.
Well, good enough. Stay tuned for my next guest. Welcome back. I have with me Aaron Brooks, who is a former Ferguson player, UVA player, and played for the Saints in the NFL. And we're going to talk a little bit about growing up in Newport News. Right. And I'm taking you way back, I know, but you started off in rec ball, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it was kind of split for me because I grew up as a boys club member, right? And I honed in a lot of my skills within the neighborhood, Ridley Circle I grew up in, but also honed them at the Hampton Roads Boys and Girls Club on Hampton Avenue in Newport News. And I played a lot of basketball and all other sports, swimming and so forth at the boys club. But when it was time for football, I would walk out my back door right past the Boys and Girls Club football team and walk all the way to 28th Street. I grew up on 16th Street, so I would walk right past the Boys Club football team and go all the way to 28th Street and play football for Doris Miller.
All right, so you wanted to play where it was a little tougher?
Well, my brother played there. I don't know if it was tougher. They was definitely winning at the time. Not that I knew anything about winning and losing, but that's the direction I was guided towards.
Right, yeah.
And when I got there, I played running back my first year, right? And at the age of 8. You know what? Now that you brought me back, it was Coach White who coached the Mets down at Anderson Park where I played baseball at. Okay, I played Little League baseball at Anderson Park for the Yankees. And Coach White asked me if I wanted to play football. And he's still there today, coaching the D-National, D-American football team where my nephew actually is playing for. And it was just amazing that I started there. And that's how I got towards Doris Miller. That's why I got to Doris Miller. And I played everything else, either baseball at Anderson Park and basketball and other things at the boys club. So it was just a unique path because I used to walk to practice trying to stay on the grass, hopping over the sidewalk just to try to stay on the grass. Oh, man, it was crazy, man.
How about that? Let's talk a little bit about going to Ferguson, because you went to Ferguson and had a pretty good career there, had pretty good coaches over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit about that experience.
Ferguson, again, that was the local area high school for me. You were either going to Warwick High School or you was going to Ferguson. Right. Well, mostly, and all of my family members went to Ferguson High School. I had a cousin by the name of Joseph Brooks. Everybody knows him by Greg, and then his brother Ricky Brooks, who were the quarterback and receiver right before Lance took over the job at Ferguson. Right. So it was only right for me to go to Ferguson. So when I got there in sports football, we were okay. You know, we was about 500 team, but I must admit when I got the starting helm at Ferguson. By the way, I only played 1 year of JV, but when I got the starting helm at Ferguson, it was all of a statistical highlight, but we never won a game. We won about 3 or 4 games a year. Yeah. 5 may have been our max. So there was no playoffs, no postseason play for me in high school football, but we did very well in basketball. Yeah. And I tried baseball 2 years. I was a freshman on the varsity team in basketball and baseball. Ended up getting honorable mention in baseball, and I gave it up for 2 years. In my senior year, I got back into it, but I had nowhere near the arm in baseball that I had in football, which is very weird.
And that's something. But you really excelled and got the attention of the people up to UVA.
Yeah, well, I ended up because the performance I displayed and my stats really told the story across the state. So I became one of the top state quarterbacks.
Right.
And obviously that attracted likes of UVA and Virginia Tech and all the other schools. And so I just chose UVA. I chose UVA. Yeah.
And excelled. And
Yeah.
just and I'm not blowing smoke at you. You did a great job up there and really proved yourself a top-notch quarterback at the college level.
Yeah, I went in with a plan. You see, a lot of people don't realize that, and they don't probably feel as though they need a plan going into college. My two high school coaches were Steve Isley, as a freshman and sophomore.
Real well.
Oh yeah, and Tommy Reamon when Steve.
Yep. Tommy too.
Yep. Tommy took over after Steve, and so I got to know Coach Reamon a little bit over those two years that I played with him. But the most important thing was that we sat down and we talked about goals, and we set a timeline and when I feel is that I should be able to play at a college level. We talked about graduation, where they're playing black quarterbacks, and whether I can be, comfortable from this distance, or do I need to stay close to home. So all those things was talked about before I even went to UVA.
Right.
And when I got to UVA, not only did all those things fit my criteria, except one small piece, but at the end of the day, it worked out well. Right. I had a goal of actually redshirting and becoming the starting quarterback my sophomore year, but things didn't happen. I ended up sharing time with the fifth-year senior. And, after that year, I just took off, because it was my show. I took off. I had a great understanding of what I was doing, and I had great support from my teammates, and we were able to do some fun things, and it got me to the next level.
What was it like when you walked out there in the stadium and you heard all of that crowd? It's completely different than what you had at high school.
Oh, yeah. But see, the thing about it, Coach Wells kind of knew what he had in me, because I came in tall, lanky kid with a strong arm. He took me on some of the road trips, such as the Florida State game. The first game of the season, we played Florida State. A teammate of mine was in my class, Jermaine Crowell, started his freshman year, and he caught two touchdowns that first game. So you can imagine, my first ever college football game was at Florida State on the sideline watching us competing against the Seminoles in their stadium. So.
Saying, why am I need to be out there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great motivator, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
All right, so you have a great career there. Then you get drafted. Tell me about that. That's got to be tremendous to get drafted and make it to the pros. I guess you dream of this stuff.
Well, you do. I was a kid not even realizing what college I was going to be going to, let alone dreaming of the NFL. But I knew I had a great junior year and a okay senior year in college, and it gave me the opportunity for guys to the next level to look at me. So what happened on that day, I had another plan. I had to ask myself, if this thing don't work out, can I work in the corporate world?
Okay.
And I answered myself like a fool, but I did. And I said yes. And I said, yes, I can. And that gave me all the confidence to know whether on draft day, whether I was going to get drafted or not, to look forward to the future.
Right.
And they called me the second day. I couldn't believe that, that they called me. I was so nervous. I was just so nervous, but at the same time, it was just so fulfilling that I was able to have an opportunity to be on the football team. But then I had to realize I had to make the team.
Right.
So I went out there and I showed them my stuff, and they was like, cool.
But you must have had a lot of confidence in yourself from all the coaches and the stuff you went through to get there. When did you realize, I can play at this level?
Well, when I just saw Brett Favre playing the game, playing the position. When I was at Green Bay, I realized that, I can really make something out of this, because I'm looking at Brett as if I can do just as much or more than he can. And that gave me the motivation, because my first 3 games, we went into overtime like 2 of the 3 games. And I think we was 1 for 1 or 1 for 2, however you want to see it. And it was such a dramatic finish, because Brett finished a lot of his games so dramatic, doing a lot of great things. And I would play pay close attention to what he was doing, and I would actually use some of the stuff that he was doing, incorporate it in my game, and try to get better in what I was doing. And but I think the light hit after 10 games into the season. I started studying more, which was shame on me, but I started looking into the game a lot more and start to understand what this thing about in order to be successful on this football field. And I did that, and it gave me an opportunity. Well, I got traded not knowingly, but it also still put me in a better situation. I started the number 3 guy behind Hasselbeck and Favre. I was the number 2 guy in New Orleans behind Jeff Blake. And they had bumped me in front of Jake Delhomme and Billy Joe Tolliver. And Mark Bolger was there. They drafted Mark Bolger that year as well. So they thrust me in the number 2 spot. Jeff Blake got hurt, and the rest was history. I came in and tried to tear it up.
and you did just a wonderful job. And, I can't tell you what it's like for the fans in this area to be able to see players like yourself to excel and get to watch them on Sunday. Yeah, the big day.
And that's one thing that I knew, that everybody in the area was going to be proud of, because I was a local kid, and I made it. And I did it. I'm self-made. I feel like I'm self-made, and because I'm here now, I want to represent for you guys and for the area, and do the best I can, and lead as an example, be an example to all the young guys that's coming up, because through hard work and perseverance, you can make it happen.
Right. Now let me ask you this, because you come to these camps and you help out in these camps. What kind of advice do you give to the youngsters?
To the youngsters, I normally deal with the high school kids, right? And I feel that I can attract their attention a lot faster and quicker, and they understand because they feel like they're so close.
Right. You don't look that old. So.
No. It's a lot of things that I try to, keep them focused on. Obviously, schoolwork and education. My foundation itself supports literacy, and it's called Aaron Brooks Family Foundation. So literacy and education is really big, to me and my family. And so obviously education, but also, I just try to make sure they have fun, because at any given moment, that can be taken away from you.
Right, absolutely.
And they have this dream and this aspiration of becoming somebody, or becoming a type of pro player or professional in anything, and they don't understand that whatever that is, it can be taken away from you. So the next step, you got to ask yourself, now what am I going to do? So, I try to let them have an understanding of it's not just football, it's not just sports. That's not all you know. It's more than life than just this particular thing, because you're so young, your life and your career can probably change 2 or 3 times. So, just pushing that message to them, it kind of wakes them up. They're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Well, I'm going to still go for it. Please do. But at the same time, understand you may not get as far as the next person.
Right. But you still got to have that passion. You still have to continue to go, regardless of what direction you end up going.
Exactly. You're not quitting on anything. It just didn't work out for you.
Yeah. New plan.
Yeah, just a new plan. Okay. Because sometimes you find guys who retire, want to come back. They can't get away from the game. Some guys retire and have to go to play Canada football, football in Canada. They want to play arena football. They want to play Arena 2 football. They want to do everything. So you just, it's a time to say, okay, I had enough. Let's move on. I'm better than this. I can do something else,
Well, and let me ask you this. You never really got a serious injury the whole time. You got injured.
Yeah, I got injured, but nothing that prohibited me from running.
Right, yeah.
And cutting stuff, just a couple of ailments. But I had 2 major surgeries on my shoulder. Oakland, I had a torn pec. And in New Orleans, about 03, 02, I had a small muscle in my back of my shoulder torn. But that's just part of the game. That's just the game. Yeah, that's the game.
Well, you got the big bullseye on your back. When you got the ball, the quarterback is the guy that was, right?
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you for coming over and talking to us.
Well, no, man, that's no problem. I'm glad you give me an opportunity to talk in front of the fans, to all your listeners, and to share my path and let them know great things can happen if you continue to move forward.
Well, thanks again. Thank you for tuning in to LSC. I want to thank all my guests. This is Bob Hintz. Until next time.